Hi there, it's Kevin with GatheringMagic.com here with the wrap-up video for our Play on a Budget UI tokens. I really like the way that the deck played out. Not too bad. But we did get to see that Polymorph into Emrakul isn't necessarily a automatic win in Modern. Plenty of decks have an entire turn to respond to that and can just outright win by comboing off on their own, or as we saw with the pod deck, going into a creature that actually comes into play that kills Emrakul. So, very fun deck though. I love this deck. I'm gonna have to play it at in a major tournament or in like a daily or something to see exactly how it performs. But just the tokens alone can give so many decks a problem by going into just raising alarms into Intangible Virtue, Gather the Townsfolk into Honor the Pure, etc., etc., etc. I do think this deck wants one more Honor the Pure. I wasn't very impressed with Springleaf Drums. I think you can go down 2 of them maybe. I don't think a full 4 of them to accelerate into that Polymorph is necessarily needed. A lot of the counter spells are going to be on that second turn, or just Path Exiles, Lightning Bolts, etc., 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 just to disrupt the Polymorph. And I do think that going like maybe Midnight Hauntings over Gather the Townsfolk might just be better because they're instant speed rather than just a 2/2 for 2. But I guess this did show me that the modern event deck isn't as bad as I thought, as we are utilizing most of the cards here from the modern event deck. I did on my own channel on YouTube/Rogue Deck Builder. I did a review on the modern event deck and absolutely hated it, as I didn't think it was competitive enough in the modern scene, and I didn't think for $75 it included enough value. So maybe I can kick myself here or bite my tongue that this deck is competitive even without the Polymorph combo. Now, Elspeth is something that could definitely go in the deck, or even Swords. And as one of the opponents said, like remands, like counter magic, spell snares, remands, mana leaks could definitely work in this deck as well. You put out a threat, you put out an anthem, you mana leak their stuff, and then you get in for 2/2/2/2/2/2, and pretty soon they're dead, especially with decks like that are doing 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 damage with Thought Seizes and Shock Lands and Fetch Lands. So overall, very, very happy with this deck. I don't know what changes I'd make. The overall changes, if you're not on a budget, would definitely be putting in the more expensive lands. You could put in a Fetch Land, especially with the new Concept Arc here coming out. You could use a basic island and a basic plains and a basic swamp, and then go fetch those, or not even in basic, you just go like a Hallowed Fountain, a Godless Shrine, and a whatever the Black Water Grave, and then use the fetch lands to go get the exact one that you need. And that would make this deck a lot more consistent. You don't have to play cards like City of Brass or Caves of Koilos. Did still think the Windbrisk Heights combination with Emrakul is a really, really sweet little combination. I think this deck could use one more Path to Exile as well. Path to Exile just seems like an auto-include in a white. There's so many cards this card just completely shuts down, like Splinter Twin or Pod. It does very well against. Timely Reinforcements and Supreme Verdict, I think, still have merit in this deck. But again, it's pick your poison with what sort of sideboard cards. I think that Leyline of Sanctity would be a decent card in this deck. I think even putting Auric Champion in the sideboard would be pretty decent. You know what, Auric Champion might just be better than Timely Reinforcements, because the deck that you want them to put in Timely Reinforcements is really the aggressive decks or the burn decks, and Auric Champion just completely destroys any sort of red burn deck or any sort of creature-based deck that is trying to do enough damage. Plus, it's a natural combo or anti-combo against Deceiver Exarch and Splinter Twin. They a lot of times have a hard time dealing with a Auric Champion. They can't be bolted, can't be electrolyzed. They can still bounce it back with an Echoing Truth or a Cryptic Command, but by that point, you've probably stabilized and they're on the ropes of being on the defensive rather than on the aggressive. So Auric Champion, I think, definitely would replace the Timely Reinforcements in this slot. Even though, you know, Auric Champion, then you couldn't go the Emrakul combo, but I don't think you'd need to. Against those type of aggressive decks, I don't think Emrakul is your answer. You'd side the Polymorphs out and the Emrakuls out, and then just put in the Auric Champions and maybe like Brave the Elements or Supreme Verdicts, and then you wouldn't have to worry about polymorphing into a Auric Champion. You could still leave it in Emrakul if you think you can put in Windbrisk Heights. So I wonder if there's a way to manipulate Emrakul to put it on the top of your library. If there's a card like Brainstorm, for example, I don't think there is in Modern any sort of way just to put Emrakul on the top for your Windbrisk Heights to find him. But that little combination is still in here waiting to be exploited. That can come out as quick as turn 3 with going first turn Windbrisk Heights, second turn Gather the Townsfolk. Well, actually, no, it would take turn 4 to do so, because you'd have to be able to get 3 tokens in and then go from there. So, again, that might actually be a little bit of a incentive to put in like a Soul Sisters or whatnot, is getting out the ability for a Windbrisk Heights a little more consistently. Anywho, I enjoyed this. Hope you guys did as well. This is Kevin with GatheringMagic.com. Thanks for watching.